Hey, welcome to my hike. I'm Kevin, and today I am so excited to be here in San Andreas, California. This is the home of PAWS, Performing Animal Welfare Society. Animals that are retired, animals that have been abused from roadside zoos, from circuses, and they bring them here, and it's got to be like nirvana to these animals. It's so spectacular. I'm very excited about this, so pull up your Spanx, strap on that helmet, keep an eye out for wildlife, and why don't we go take a hike? Connecting shoulders with me today is a former fashion model. She's an Academy Award winner from the movie LA Confidential. You know her maybe as Vicky Vale from the movie Batman with Michael Keaton, my favorite Batman. She's an animal lover. She fights for animal rights, women's rights, human rights, and the environment. Today we're hiking with the wonderful and the compassionate Kim Basinger. Isn't this beautiful up here?
Well, let's just put it this way. I've been to Africa for lengthy periods of time in my life, twice in my life. I've been very blessed to be able to actually see the real thing. If you really want to see the next best thing, it's up here at PAWS.
Absolutely.
This is it.
Both you and I, somehow we got involved in this organization, you for a long time, and you've constantly been doing fundraisers and raising awareness. And
Animals should not be in any kind of entertainment or zoo situations, quite frankly. This is the way to observe them. I mean, PAWS is now what? It's 2,500 acres. If you really want to see elephants roam free all day, this is it.
Yeah.
And I'd been in animal protection since I was a young girl because my mom was.
I mean, you also didn't. You would rather go naked than work for Peter, right?
I'd strip right here.
Would you rather go naked for elephants?
I'd go
Today?
naked. You know what? To be really honest with you, for what it's worth nowadays,
What do you mean?
I'd go naked.
You look great.
I'd go naked if it would save any kind of the animals. Yeah, I would. I did. You know what? It wasn't too long ago. They just didn't believe me. I've been asked to do such things even lately, and I do it all. I mean, if it would mean something, then if it could save anything, I'd be willing to do anything.
How did you get involved with PAWS?
The truth is, one night really late, I was watching one of those shows like the Inside, I don't know what it was called, one of those kind of magazine type shows.
Inside Elephants?
No. And I saw what seemed to be a training tape of an elephant being trained to salute. And
With
that's
bull
when
hooks.
they hold with bull hooks.
Yeah.
And there were two elephants chained they were in the Milwaukee Zoo, and they were chained spread eagle to the floor, and they were hit over and over again. And this went on for 14 hours. I found out there was 14 hours of it, and it was called a training tape to be handed to other trainers to teach them how to break an elephant in.
And you saw that?
And I saw that, and I got in touch with Ed Stewart and Pat Derby, and I said, I have to get involved here. I do. Right. And he flew down to LA, and he showed me. I locked myself in my publicist's office, and I watched 14 hours of the tape, and that was it. I was in. I've worked in animal protection for so many years, and there are some great people, and I work with about 4 or 5 specific organizations that I've had a lot to do with. I really consider Ed and Pat having been my mentors. I really got involved with this, and they're not just teachers who push you. We got to be such good friends, and I got such an education and awareness about this, especially from the wild animal kingdom. Yeah. The real truth that goes on, and I spent many hours in their classroom with them.
Yeah,
so I
he's
really
amazing.
consider them.
He's the president.
He's the
PAWS
real
and the
deal.
co-founder.
He and Pat were, and this man.
This man right here, speaking of the devil.
Hey, welcome.
You're amazing. We're just talking. Were your ears burning? Was your trunk burning?
No, just my ears.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at these beautiful elephants.
This is Mara on the right. We've had Mara for 30 years here.
Wow.
And Tika is the other one on the left, and we've had her for about 7 years. Mara was born in Africa, and Tika was born in a zoo.
How do you know that for a fact? Did you do 23andMe on both of them?
Yeah. Yes.
Come on, Kim, that was funny.
That's funny.
I'm gonna laugh.
That's funny, Kevin.
Don't worry about me.
You guys are gonna have to laugh a
I'm
little
good.
bit.
I'm good.
I know this is
No,
great.
no.
All right.
You're a very funny man.
Captivity is very, very hard on elephants. Elephants live an extremely short life.
What's in the average lifespan of an elephant in the wild compared to one in captivity?
Well, it's hard to say the average, but they get their last tooth out of 6 teeth, 6 sets of teeth.
Yeah.
They get the last one in their 40s. So that should last them 20 years. So they should live at least 60.
Yeah.
In captivity, they die when they're about 38. So obviously, it's not the right place for them.
You think you're a good mother?
At the end of the life, though, that's all that really matters. I mean, that's the best thing I'll ever do is bring her into this world. So, you know, at the end of the life,
Right.
you kind of would like to think that you did an okay job, you know. You're
Sure.
gonna make your mistakes, but she's my best.
Oh, sure.
Joined
She's
at
great.
the
I
hip.
love her.
I
met
love
her
her, too.
a couple months ago. She's
Thank
really
you so
nice.
much. Yeah, she's a good girl.
Beautiful.
No judgment. That's so
Right.
important in this life. Compassion is everything, and just not judging anybody about anything unless they hurt something else, and then that's a whole nother ballgame.
And do you think Ireland's kind of falling into step on that?
I think Ireland is one of the most compassionate girls I've ever met. And there's one thing I will say for her. I think I drilled it into her head when she was a little girl. I used to bend down and literally look at her. And as you know, she's tall.
Yeah.
So when she was tiny, I bent down and I said, just speak from your heart and stand up for yourself. Don't ever let him stand up.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself. And oh my God, I think I did too good a job. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Careful what you wish for.
when she rambles on Instagram,
Yeah.
I think, oh, what have I done? What have I done?
There's a lake up there named after her.
Yes,
Ireland.
so yeah, Pat and Ed. Ed actually is the only person that really could discipline Ireland.
Yeah.
Because she used to bring a couple of friends up here and would spend the night up. And I said, you know, girls, that you have to get in bed because Ed's going to come and get you at 3:30 in the morning. Well, they didn't have any idea about time, so they'd stay up and watch things,
Right.
whatever. And then I'd say, you better get in the bed. You better get in bed. And here came this knock. They say, get on your boots. And he would take them out to pick up elephant dung. And so she sort of grew up around here.
That's great.
Yeah, we took them down to creeks around the area and got cold watermelon and put them in the
Aw,
creeks.
that's
And
the
we had
best.
there's some great memories.
I've noticed that these fences are like really strong steel and metal.
Yeah.
And they go down to the ground pretty far, right?
Right. They go 6 feet in the ground.
Why does it need to be so strong? I know elephants are, but I mean, 6 feet into the ground.
6 feet in concrete
Why is that?
because they weigh 9,000 pounds.
No, but isn't it because
a trick question?
No.
Because this is Jurassic Park. Do you get what I'm saying, Kevin?
It's important that you contain them. That would be one thing. And you try to give them as much space as you can, but the fencing is very expensive to build and maintain. So
Right. It must cost so much money to run this
they
place.
figured it's about $70,000 for one healthy elephant per year.
Wow.
And that's kind of on the low end.
That's more than a private school.
That's, yeah.
Kim, am I right?
And there's-
Not the private schools I went. No, I wasn't kidding. That I put her in. That I'm wondering now, why did I do that?
When have you been the happiest in your life besides right now?
The happier on my animals. Happy. Ireland makes me laugh. She's funny. I love to be around her.
I can't remember. Does she have tattoos?
Does she have tattoos?
She does? Do you?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yes,
As
I
many
do.
as Ireland?
No, I have one right here.
Do you think you inspired her to get tattoos?
No, she took me, forced me to go to Studio City to some tattoo shop, I don't know, around that area.
Yeah.
And she was too young,
Yeah.
so the owner knew me, and he's one of the most brilliant artists. And there was a picture on the wall, and it had me in it.
Yeah.
And so she said, "All I want, Mom, I just want on the back of my neck, just
That's
one."
right. I saw that. I thought it was David Bowie. Ed, any tattoos for
No,
you?
no, not yet.
What would it be if you got a tattoo?
Ireland.
Ireland?
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
the-
Dumbo, Dumbo.
Dumbo.
What kind of fish are in the Ireland pond?
No fish, just frogs.
Oh, ha, ha.
What? You got a frog tattoo?
I do.
No way. You do.
There's my frog.
Nice.
Yes, yes,
Ribbit,
that's my
ribbit.
little one.
Why a frog?
Actually, it was supposed to be much smaller than that.
Well, they grow. I've been up there several times, Ed, and it's always such a memorable trip for me. I was here with Kim last time, a couple years ago, and there's nothing like it. I mean, and then your house, it's so simple up on the hilltop.
Right.
It's beautiful, it's cozy, and you wake up every morning to that
And it's got
360
the
view,
views
the
of-
views, and
oh my God.
How many people
And-
can look out their window and see elephants roaming and tigers?
And I think the latest is mountain lions.
Really?
was
Well,
telling
we-
me about
we-
5 mountain lions.
Right, we do have mountain lions. We have 2,300 acres, and we're trying to save at least 1,000 acres for just the animals that live there. So we have mountain lions on the other side of the river. We have
Everything. Wild.
bobcats, everybody.
You know, these elephants are called in at night like, "Here, kitty, kitty." You know, I mean, these are 8 elephants, and to watch this happen up here is one of the most mystical things I have ever experienced in my entire life. I've known Ed and Pat and these people for all that work here, and God bless them all, because it takes some really dedicated people to do this.
Next time I go,
When you do witness this, I cannot honestly think of the emotional value and the experience it's meant for me to watch that happen.
These are wild animals.
right, they're wild.
And you know, as friendly as they seem, they could turn on you too. Have you ever had a close call like that? Where you
No,
because
if
sometimes these animal handlers die from an elephant attack, right?
Right.
There's
Well-
one thing that Ed and Pat, this was what was so significant for me to pass on to anyone. They have never used a bull hook,
Never.
ever.
Right.
I don't even think they
And a
own
bull hook,
one.
Ed, is what? Just explain what a bull hook
Well,
is.
bullhook is it's a weapon that historically has been used for 5,000 years on elephants. It has a sharp steel point and a sharp hook.
And it's hooked, yeah.
And, yeah, it's the way that circuses dominated elephants for years and years. And PAWS and the Humane Society and the Oakland Zoo got together and passed a bill in California to outlaw bullhooks, so it's illegal
great.
here. Now, there are other ways of doing it, and you're right, these are wild animals. Almost all of them were born wild, so you know, people think you just go up and put your arms around their trunk and give them a hug.
Yeah.
Sometimes that doesn't work.
Isn't it a shame that there's so many circuses and zoos out there that these elephants have a horrible life? I mean, these circuses, they put them on train cars, they're chained up most of the time, and then they have to perform for an audience.
Yeah.
And I think it's becoming more and more, known that that is not the
And
way.
unacceptable.
And unacceptable.
And
Right.
unacceptable.
I love Cirque du Soleil. I love those.
I love Cirque du Soleil too.
Even though they may travel by train, I think it's a lot easier for them. Kim, thoughts?
Yeah, none of the elephants ever signed up to go into the circus, you know.
No.
Nobody
no.
ever said that's a good idea. And nobody ever, you know, riding elephants. You know, the first time somebody rides a wild elephant, I'll say it's okay to ride an elephant. But in order to ride any elephant, you have to break them physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And it's an ugly process. I've seen it happen.
And I know that Ed was always every single port. I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, but I think you always had your video camera there when Barnum and Bailey came to town. The day that they would unload or
Right.
load the elephants up.
Right.
And he got footage that I cannot tell you how, it's because it's part of his education and Pat's at the time, to really show me what went on behind the scenes. And people out there, you really need to see the way these creatures, these magnificent creatures, are treated. And that's just not the elephants, that's all these wild animals in the circuses.
Yeah.
All of them are deprivation is very huge too as well. Deprivation and really just cruelty. To perform, it takes cruelty. That's what it is.
Right.
Ed was always there, and I remember specifically seeing footage just even lately in my office, just some that old footage that I had of him reprimanding one of the handlers. I can't stand even say that word, but one of these punks hitting the back of an elephant's leg so he would go up the ramp of a train
Yeah.
to get him on a train.
But we just did that so people would see the reality. You didn't have to convince anybody once they saw how the elephants were handled. And now the circus is basically gone,
Yeah, that's great.
and we're still here, which is
We are.
phenomenal. Hello, Lou. So Lulu in the middle is the second oldest African elephant in the country. Lulu's 54 years old, and that should be, if she was wild, she would still be having babies. But in captivity, it's a miracle she's still living. And we've had her for about 14 years.
Ooh, look at the turkeys. There's so many wild turkeys up
I
here.
know when we first drove in, we saw these.
Is this where they make the whiskey? Wild turkey?
I know I don't drink bourbon, so I don't know. I don't know what wild turkey is. What?
I know you're pretending you don't know what it is, but
I don't. I mean, I don't drink it. I know exactly what it is.
do you have a favorite elephant?
Well, usually the favorite is the one who needs the most
The needy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think right now Lulu, being the oldest, and she really misses Pat.
The Pat, yeah. who you
Pat
co-founded this with.
Pat actually saved her life and her mental capacity. I mean, she was a basket case when she got here, Lulu. And so Pat spent years just trying to make her feel that everything was going to be okay.
And you have tigers too. There's 16 tigers, is it?
Yeah,
And one lion.
1 lion and 4 bears.
What do you like taking care of more, the elephants or the tigers and the lions?
Well, I take care of the elephants every day,
Oh, that's your thing.
but I like taking care of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, trying to come up with new things to keep them busy and building bigger areas. That's the most important thing.
Ed, you're from Cleveland. Did you ever think you would end up, having a sanctuary for these rescued animals?
No, I never thought I would be involved with rescuing anything. 2,300 acres and 8 elephants. When I was a kid, I didn't want a dog because it was too big of a responsibility. So now, I don't know what happened. I think it was Pat Derby who brought me into this world. And once you're in it, it's very rewarding, very frustrating sometimes that you can't release animals to the wild where they should live.
Right.
But I hope at some point we don't have elephants in small places or chained up and then we will consider this place a success.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Ed. I gotta tell you, I really do feel like I just spent the day at Jurassic Park, but a safe Jurassic Park that does good things for animals. And if you'd like to contribute or donate to PAWS, you can visit their website. It's pawsweb.org. Thanks for joining my hike. Please subscribe, turn on notifications. We'll catch you next time. Happy trails.